Those who have worked at Disney World, what behind-the-scenes stories do you have that the public doesn't see? 1. I worked at Splash Mountain. Sometimes we had guests decide it was a great idea to hop out of the log because they didn't want to ride anymore. Well, we know about that every time. The ride is littered with motion sensors, pressure pads, the like. I have a photographic memory of the ride layout, and even I wouldn't be able to avoid being detected out of the log. The flashers don't happen very often, actually. It's usually men with their shirts off. In this case, their ride photo is blanked out and they can't purchase it. We always had parents trying to sneak kids who didn't meet the height requirement. I do remember we had one family who kept trying for hours, thinking that the cast didn't talk to each other about problematic parents. Ride. Evacuations were always interesting, but as long as you were strong and confident with the guests, they always listened. It's really important to walk them through what's going to happen and let them know you've done this more than enough times. I also teased them that they were going to get a backstage tour, but it was going to be real brief. And as long as they didn't take pictures, they'd get a fast pass for their troubles. Every day was an event, but I loved every minute of it. 2. Monorail pilot here. People have sex on the Epcot monorail at night a lot and act like we don't know. We always know. 3. I think I've left a comment similar to this before, but I briefly trained for Kilimanjaro safaris at Disney World. At one point on the ride, you go over a bridge with crocodiles underneath. As I was riding with no one in the truck other than my trainer, she felt free to tell me that if anyone were to stand up and fall into the crocodile pit, I was to drive away immediately so that others wouldn't have to see the carnage or try to rescue the person. The crocodiles are apparently fed from that bridge, and anything that drops from there is food to them, and they are surprisingly fast. 4. I worked on the Great Movie Ride in Hollywood Studies for a while, and I can tell you all 22 minutes of your friendly tour guide's speech is scripted to the very last letter. You get 3 days to learn your whole monologue and all of the speeds, controls, stops, goes of the actual ride before going live as a tour guide. Most of those 3 days is spent in a room with your trainer reciting your script until you get every word right. If you accidentally say the word okay instead of all right, you start over from the beginning. Most tedious 3 days of my life. There's also one button on Evercar that, despite being really close to buttons you have to touch all the time, if pushed, it gets you fired immediately. 5. I went on a Keys to the Kingdom tour once and got to go down into the tunnels. It smells like rotten ketchup down there in a lot of places.